Welcome to ENside Politics, our weekly podcast on 6 to 8 things you need to know about San Antonio politics. I'm Greg Jefferson, politics editor of the San Antonio Express News. I'm joined today by City Hall reporter Molly Smith.
Hello.
And our special guest from COPS Metro, Adrian, Castro, and Sonia Rodriguez. Welcome. Two leaders from an August community organization. Welcome.
Thank you so much.
Now, we have you on to talk about Proposition B, which COPS Metro is adamantly opposed to. But I'd actually like to start back in time. In 1999, when Bexar County first had a venue tax election to pay for a Spurs arena, what eventually became the Frost Bank Center. At that time, COPS Metro took a neutral position on the election. Why then did you not take a position, and what's different now?
Well, I think one of the very critical things that separates the two is the process. It was a much more open process. It was a lot more transparent. There was more conversation and community engagement in it. And at the end of the day, we decided, that it's going to be up to people to decide if this is a good idea or not.
And so, kind of, you've started to compare that to now. Kind of walk us through what exactly is different. I mean, sounds like you don't believe there was any kind of public process, though the city and Spurs have been talking about this for about a year now.
Well, they've been talking for much longer than that,
yeah.
but just not openly. It's been behind closed doors. It's been hidden by NDAs, non-disclosure agreements. Even the town hall meetings that they've had, a number of them didn't give the people an opportunity to ask questions.
Right.
And so it is vastly different. I mean, it is very different when you engage the community and have their support as opposed to now where it's been such a big secret.
Right. So back in 99, what was the county doing to kind of talk with voters, kind of talk them through the project and what they'd be paying for?
Well, there were a number of open meetings. There was a release of information. The plans were out very quickly, and people had a chance to look at them and ask questions. We knew what the price tag was going to be, which is a good place to start. And so that makes a difference to people. I mean, all of that combined makes a big difference. So yeah, 1999 was very different, very different.
So we had you on about a year ago, actually, talking about not Prop B, because such a thing did not exist at the time, but we were talking about a Spurs arena for which it was almost certain there was going to be some kind of public financing component, that voters in some manner would be asked to put up some money. And COPS Metro's position was pretty adamant a year ago. Why is that? Like, why, as an organization, did you make up your mind that early on?
I think the underlying issue under this is what we've been using as kind of our slogan for this campaign, which is public money for public good. Public money for a Spurs arena is not the public good. When you start looking, and Adrian, you're brilliant at this, about the kind of resources, the kind of money that's raised in the investment of this, it doesn't really pay off. I mean, as much as they would like us to think so.
Right. Like, like economist after economist, like every reputable economist will tell you that like arenas or stadiums are just not a good deal for the city. And this one's really not any different. I mean, you mentioned like the difference between 99. That was what, 170 million. 170. Right. I mean, that's a significant difference in 1.3.
Even adjusting for inflation, that's
a bit.
It's a huge difference. It's a huge difference. That's just a starting point. And then, we look at we break it down, and you've got Spurs games that obviously they're going to get revenue for, right? But what about everything else, like concerts? Cultural events, ceremonies, everything, they get all the revenue from that, and we're paying 62% of that. It doesn't sound like a good deal. And then when you look at the Stone planning report, and we broke it down, and it was showing maybe a city tax collection of $465,000, $475,000. Can't remember the exact number, but it was per year. I was like, even if you round it up, that's $500,000 times 30 years. You're looking at 15 million over the course of 30 years.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's not even close to the 489. And then you look at the county, it's even worse. The county, it's got a negative number. It's in parentheses. It's like a negative 170, I think. Correct. It's somewhere around there, but it's negative, right? So like, where's the economic benefit, right? It's just that's why so many economists that, like the reputable economists that have like peer-reviewed papers, they all come out saying that these are not a good deal.
Yeah.
How would this deal need to look different or be restructured for you all to be neutral on it, like you were in 99, or to not oppose it?
Well, I think that, they would have to go back and redo this process because honestly, our fight is not whether the Spurs should be downtown or not. They want to be downtown, go for it. Just pay for it.
And
I think it's pretty simple.
So if that's your starting point, that they should just pay for it. I mean, why even talk about a public process? I mean, if at the end of this public process, the answer is no public assistance for the Spurs, then why go through the pretense of it?
I mean, well, you got to look at the deal from the totality of the whole deal. Like we've all been through like car deals, right? In every car deal, you have 4 transactions, right? You have the price of the car, you've got the trade-in, you've got the interest, and then you've got the warranty. Right. So to ask like any specific component of it, like what do you want? I mean, you've got to look at the whole deal itself and evaluate it once you get it. You can't just like say, well, I just want this one thing because it's easy to load it on another part of the deal. So you've got to look at the totality of the deal.
Yeah. So, I mean, is there, what I'm hearing you say is that if tax dollars play into any part of a financing agreement for a new stadium, Cops Metro will be opposed. Am I oversimplifying that or not?
For the arena, we want to see the Spurs pay for it. They are a $4 billion company, basically. And they have some of the biggest private equity firms behind them. They can afford to build an arena. Right. Now, they
say they can't. We had their general counsel on last week, Bobby Pettit.
Yes, saying
we cannot afford to pay it. And I mean, if you think about it, like if you're an investor in a going concern, a private going concern, would you expect to be asked to pay for the entire cost of a new arena?
Yes. Okay. They've done it in other places, so I'm not worried about it.
But I mean, they've got the discount already,
right?
Because like when you build it on a public land, right? You're not collecting any property taxes. That's already a deal. That's what $31.6 million in property taxes that they're not paying a year. That just the mere fact that they're getting that is a huge deal already. They've already got that. Now, if you're going to ask for $800 million on top of that, between 311, 489, and then 250 for the infrastructure, I mean, that's like $2 billion just right off the bat because, 30 times 390, you can round it up close to $1 billion. Yeah. So you got $2 billion and it's just a starting point.
Now, I think Cops Metro has said, it's like, look, what are you going to get out of this, right? And the answer is about $75 million from the community benefits agreement. This is basically money that the Spurs will give to the city over a 30-year period for whatever. And, it looks like some of it will go toward early childhood education and pre-K programs. And who knows? I mean, it'll be up to future councils. And then you've got $160 million in rent over that period. And I think your position is that's kind of it. And that's a very bad return on your investment.
Well, $75 million over 30 years is not a lot of money.
I mean, it's not vanishingly small, but you're right. Yeah, it's not a ton of money.
For the kind of deep economic development that's necessary on the east side, that's not enough. I mean, that's just not going to work. The other thing that I think is often overlooked is the fact that the community benefits. Everywhere we looked in the country where they had said, oh, yes, we're going to do this, we're going to do this, we're going to do this, it is a non-binding agreement, and none of them have ever come to fruition. None of them. And that's true in San Antonio with the Alamo Dome. It reminds me of the Peanuts cartoon, Lucy with the football, always pulling it away. How many times are they going to pull the football away from us, and we're going to keep falling for it?
Yeah. Now,
so you don't believe that that $75 million would come to the city, or it would be used how voters would like it to be used?
Well, there's a couple of layers to it. So, like, my concerns for the $2.5 million, right? It's $2.5 million per year over 30 years with no adjustment for inflation. It's just flat. So it's really a declining community benefits agreement. It's that's all I can think about. Right. It's just going down over the course of 30 years. And if you look at 30 years, it hasn't even been 30 years since we had what's now the Frost Bank Center. That was what, 170. You look how cheap it looks in comparison now. And then we're told that this particular stadium's a good deal, right?
Yeah,
it's because they're paying $500 million, and then you look at the Oklahoma City, they were able to control their costs down to about $900 million. So right off the bat, we're looking at a pretty expensive stadium, right?
So I'm past my brain freeze from a minute ago. What I wanted to ask you about was the city and the Spurs, and I think the county as well. Their argument is that an arena would be. You have to look at it in the context of Project Marvel. So this planned, the city's plan for a sports and entertainment district that would kind of grow up around a Spurs arena. That this would become a magnet for not only out-of-town visitors, but also locals who just don't go downtown because they don't see a reason. This might be a reason. Do you not think that there's anything to that at all? Is that in your mind just not a possibility that it could work out as the city thinks it will?
Well, it depends what we're thinking about what they think, right? Because one thing I'll look at their actual projections, and we feel like those projections are optimistic. And even with those optimistic projections, the deal looks bad. Like you look at the convention center. I think the convention center is looking at $106.5 million over 30 years. That's at today's value, net present value over 30 years. And then the Alamo Dome's looking from their numbers, they're expecting $10.3 million. Those are their numbers for city tax collections. So when you look at that, you're like, okay, well, that's not a whole lot of return, is it? And then we look even further and you say they're going to use the PFZ. And originally the PFZ they made the deal in 2023.
Project Finance Zone. It's state sales tax collection. You can pay for
or state hotel tax collection within a mile of downtown zone. And originally they were going to use it for the convention center and the Alamo Dome. They've since amended that to use it for the Spurs Arena.
Exactly.
Yes, thanks for the context. I forget that.
Yes,
I get caught up.
I know we get caught up in acronyms with this really fast. So go ahead.
So I'll call it the state money, right? So we've got the state money. So if we know that the convention center and the Alamo Dome aren't going to hold up on their own, then it would make sense to put the PFZ into those two, and at that point support those two because the arena also doesn't produce anything for the city, but it does produce a lot for the team, for the Spurs owners.
Yeah,
and quite honestly, our perspective is that there are things that we already own. The Coliseum, we own the Coliseum, the Frost Bank Center, the Alamo Dome, the Convention Center, and they all need to be worked on. So that's why we're not opposing Prop A, because we think that it's a fair idea to expand and to grow those and to take care of them, do what's necessary, because we've already gone down the rabbit hole with them anyway. So let's take care of them and fix them.
So Prop A would put, I believe it's $192 million for kind of upgrading the Freeman Coliseum, Frost Bank Center, and the grounds. Yeah. The idea being that it could kind of allow the San Antonio Stock Show and Rodeo to host events year-round, Western events, rodeo-related things, concerts, that kind of thing. Does that not? I mean, is that worrisome to you? In that it sounds like it has kind of it kind of smacks of building it and they will come. I mean, is there a proven market in your?
Well, I think that listening to for example, Pat Frost, who's very engaged in this conversation, and the members of the Coliseum and the rodeo, rather, they have a plan for attracting other events that are already in other places, but they would love to come to San Antonio, and we'd love to have them. So I think that they've got a way of addressing that. I don't think it's a pie in the sky thing.
Yeah.
I think it's a lot more specific than that.
So when the city says, you know what, we really need to expand the convention center because we've looked at it and we really need it. Do you buy that? Is that something you can support?
Well,
you throw your arms around that.
You look at the convention center, and they want another hotel. They can't fill the ones they've got, and they are thinking that this is going to attract bigger conventions to the city.
I'm the only thing I can look at it from this is like it doesn't generate a lot over the time period, but it still generates more than the arena, right? It's over, I think, 15 million over 106 or 100. I can't remember the exact number, but it's around there. And if you're going to do it, though, you should at least use the state money. You shouldn't use any other kind of funding source because it's already it's not coming out of the city budget, which is, as they've been telling us, like for a couple of months, that the city's in crisis, right? With like we're projected to be about $300 million a year in deficit. Is that what you guys are hearing? Yeah, that's what I'm hearing. So when I hear that, I'm just like, okay, so why are we committing so much money to this?
Right. Yeah. Now, go ahead.
I'm curious. With the county venue tax, this is the $311 million that's part of Proposition B. You all have said a lot of times this money should go for other projects, and I'm curious what those projects are that you would like to see.
Well, back in 2008, where they used some of that money, they did it to build parks, museums, trails. So there are a lot of things that it can be used for that are really the public good. And some of the folks that we've spoken with in the East Side particularly say they would love to have more places where young people can gather, where they can have midnight basketball. And those things are missing in the community right now. So those are the kinds of things that we think really would make a difference in the lives of people, and not just the people who go see Spurs games.
Right. Now, the county, probably 2 years ago, they started talking about the possibility, not long after we broke the news about the talks between the Spurs and the city. We had at that time county commissioners talking about the possibility of eventually using a venue tax and maybe for something like this. But at the time, this was two years ago, we had County Commissioner Justin Rodriguez saying, well, whoa. There are a lot of competing priorities. This is going to have to go through a process. I don't believe there was actually a public process to go through, potential projects out in the community. I don't believe that happened. Did Cops Metro, did you ever talk with County Judge Peter Sakai about how you would like to see this play out back in the, before it came to this point?
We've had a number of conversations with the judge regarding the kinds of things that we want to see happen. And, most recently, the debacle at Perrin Vital, where so many people lost their lives. And right now, the response is, well, we're going to put up these big arms like at a railroad crossing to stop people from going through. That's not really the answer. It needs a real investment in infrastructure to keep the flooding from happening to begin with. And so we've had these conversations with them, and we've said, look, there's a lot of need, not just in not just in the west side or the south side or the east side, but the north side. I mean, there's just a lot that needs to get done. And, if you add it all up and you look at it, it's probably going to be like $4 billion if we did it all. We don't have $4 billion. Spurs do, but we do not. And so it is.
I think Spurs would differ, but I'm not going to defend
but we'll stick with
or speak for them anyway.
How would the venue tax, though, be used for that? I know the venue tax can be used for watershed protection, protecting the aquifer, but when I read the tax code, it doesn't look like it can be used for flood prevention and parent vital.
Well, keep in mind, we're not just speaking of the county money. We're not just talking about Prop B, but we're also A or B actually. But we're really talking about what the total investment is going to look like. Total investment is very, very different because now you're talking about city bonds. Now you're talking about, moving the SAWS chill. So, there's a lot of other things that are involved in this that we're not going to be able to escape. We can't walk away and say we're only going to do this. It's going to take all of that working together. And that's why, we talk about the Spurs arena, but it really is Project Marvel as a whole that we have to look at.
Mm-hmm.
How do you all kind of rate or grade Judge Sakai's handling of this deal? And how he I know he for a long time said, I'm not even going to entertain using the venue tax until there's a plan for the East Side. There has been criticism of the fact that the county did not, unlike the city, negotiate any community benefits out of this. How do you both look at how he has handled this deal and his handling of putting up county dollars toward this?
Early on, we had some very good conversations with Judge Sakai, and he was actually very supportive of where we were. And he felt that there wasn't enough information. He was concerned about the NDAs and all of those sorts of things. But most recently, he's gone to the dark side, if you will. He really is now very, very supportive of moving forward. He supports, obviously, Prop A and Prop B. And so it's a little disheartening, but it's not surprising.
What do you think changed?
I'm sorry?
What do you think changed? Why does he take the position now that he didn't or wasn't taking, 2 years ago?
That's a question for him. And I'd love to hear his answer.
I would not speak for him, but he's talked a lot about not being the county judge on watch when the Spurs leave. If they don't get
well, that's a big scare, right? The
right.
Spurs are leaving.
I'm thinking maybe that might have something to do with it.
It's almost like a talking point, though. It's just.
What do you mean? How so?
Well, they haven't even suggested that they're going to leave.
Right.
Right. So,
it's
almost like a whisper campaign. Like, hey, let's.
That's it.
Let's go ahead and let's see. Let's not say anything about it. It'd be kind of cool if they said we're staying. After all, we've supported them all these years, and they have a really good fan base.
They have said that their future is in. They see their future being in San Antonio. Mm-hmm. The question is that predicated on a successful election in November, and they've been a little cagey about that. In fact, Molly wrote a lot about that. Yeah, give us a rundown of what you found in your reporting.
Yeah, I think we hear from a lot of folks, elected officials, that we're going to lose the team either to Austin, Seattle, or Las Vegas, or the three cities I'm sure you all hear as well. Mm-hmm. And that most experts of professional sports say those are very unlikely candidates for a team. Seattle and Las Vegas are more likely to get an expansion team, which would be a new NBA team, just because it's much more lucrative for the league to get these new teams. And Austin is, unlike San Antonio, their city and county officials are very unlikely to put up public money for an arena.
Go.
But, here's the deal. Honestly, I don't think they're going anywhere. But it is right now in their self-interest to let that whisper campaign go. Mm-hmm. They could stop it and say, we're not going anywhere, but we need this for whatever, right?
Yeah.
But they're not saying that. They're kind of letting it just kind of drift out there to scare people.
Kind of percolate.
Yeah.
Now, Henry Cisneros wrote a guest editorial for the Express News published last week in which he said that if Prop B goes down on November 4th, the very next day, very wealthy business groups in Nashville, Seattle, Las Vegas, Austin, they're going to be on the phone with the Spurs trying to entice them. So even if the Spurs aren't currently thinking about it, they would be foolish not to listen to those offers. Is that not realistic? That seems totally plausible to me. Is it not?
I doubt it. I mean, do I think the Spurs are going to listen to it? I think it's going to be interesting for them to pay attention to it and see what people have to say. And I'm sure they've already done that.
And it kind of gets you to thinking, was like, is our relationship with them that transactional?
Right.
I mean, is it really? Like, I mean, because we've been supporting them.
We didn't think the coyote was that kind of coyote.
But there you go.
There you go. He's behaving maybe as a coyote would. Go ahead.
I am curious what you both see happening if Proposition B fails. And the city has said that the financing plan that the Spurs, the city, and the county have agreed to would basically fall apart if Prop B fails. So what do you both see being the step that either the city or the Spurs might do if voters say we don't support this use of county dollars?
Well, considering how much political capital they're using to push this through, I'm imagining they're going to try to renegotiate it. And I can't see them not trying to. I mean, isn't that what you would think there's going to happen? They're going to try to renegotiate it. They're exhausting a lot of political capital right now, and just to push this through. And that's what I see happening.
Mm-hmm.
It has to be. There is a plan B out there. We don't know what it is because they didn't share plan A.
Yeah.
But certainly this is far from over just because Prop B might fail. Now, what if Prop A passes and B fails? That seems to trigger some kind of interesting things along the way. So we'll have to see that. But
let's focus for a moment on those interesting things. What are they? This is if the rodeo gets $192 million in upgrades, essentially to do year-round events. But you've got the Spurs still playing
and they still have
at Frost Bank Center with a full NBA roster, which is about 42 home games a year, something like that. Yeah. So anyway, how does that play out?
Well, I mean, it addresses it doesn't address actually one of the big issues, which is the Spurs rodeo time, right? Mm-hmm. They have to go someplace else. And the question becomes, are there going to be so many events now that what are the Spurs going to do? Mm-hmm. Right? So if they can't use, the facilities or, then where are they going to go? Yeah. Well, what was the Alamo Dome built for?
The NFL.
The NFL. Yes, Henry, and that never materialized. So, yeah.
If the Spurs renegotiate the deal, if Prop B fails and they renegotiate a deal, do you see that deal being better or worse for residents?
Well, I mean, I expect another deal to come our way, and then we're not going to know for a while because we have to dissect this. Every time I look at this deal, I find something different. I look at the term sheet, look at the PFZ, and looking at every single component. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's like there's a lot of moving parts, and when I hear them talking about it, it's like everything's oversimplified. Mm-hmm. But when you look at it yourself, you're like, this isn't a simple deal. There's a lot of moving parts. There's revenue coming from everywhere. There's money exiting from everywhere. And then when you talk about it, there's two ways I'll see talking about it. I'll see, when it comes to the cost, hey, it's just an arena. But when it comes to the economic benefits, no, it's the whole thing. And then they include the math from the whole thing. And then it confuses people. They think that the arena is going to generate all this revenue, but really there's all these little pieces to it. And you have to go to all these different places and then put all the pieces together. So I don't know. When it comes out, we'll look at it. It took me a while to find out, like in the term sheet, there's like a section 10, major arena renovations. And it says that some unknown funding mechanism is in there. And I really haven't heard it like mentioned, but that's a pretty significant deal. Yeah. So we're going to pay for $800 million, and we're not done paying it in 30 years. And then in the midpoint, we're putting in another major arena renovation. If we do the math on the first one, they did a major arena renovation, which was probably about $110 million, I think. And then if you put it over the cost of the arena, it's like 110 over 170. So it comes out to about somewhere about $600 to $700 million for the next arena. So it's like a cycle, and we're like pre-committing to it, even though it's non-binding.
So yeah. But what you're saying is that in 15 years time, say 15 years into a new arena, it's going to need renovated, if not sooner than that. And the question is, who pays for it? But it's a publicly owned facility, so it's probably it's probably the city or county.
But who's like profiting from it?
Right.
Like
yeah.
We don't get any revenue from it. So so who's really benefiting from it? And then. We already talked about it. The deal is already made when they're not paying property taxes on it. It's like $31.6 million. You go through, and it's because it's located where it's located. You've got a piece of land. They're not having to pay property taxes. Look around the city and look up the Bexar County CAD and look how many businesses pay property taxes. How do we collect? How does the city collect any kind of revenue from business in the city? The only mechanism we have in Texas is our property tax. There's no state income tax. So where does everything come from? Property taxes. So all of our costs are coming from a business, a $4 billion business, mind you. Then how are we funding it? Everybody else is paying for it.
Yeah. No, it is, this would be a public facility, right? So it's not just the Spurs. It would be concerts and whatever events they can book for that space. And just so going back to renovations, for example, like why wouldn't you expect if the city owns, the arena and it's drawing revenue not only from the Spurs but from other events, like why shouldn't the city have to pay to upkeep and renovate? Because
the direction of where the revenue's headed. Because the revenue's headed directly to a private entity. There's nothing going back to the city. So if we're paying 62% of
so
it,
you're talking about the TERS. You're talking about going to the tax increment investment zone.
What I'm referring to is you've got the 311 plus the 489.
Okay.
So that's 800 million, 800 million to over 1.3 billion. That's 62%. So we're paying 62% of an arena where we have no revenue sharing agreement with. So if any major arena renovations, the only one benefiting is the private entity. So at that point, the idea is like, so why is this okay?
Yeah.
I don't know.
So after, does COPS Metro have some kind of contingency plan for after Election Day? Say Prop B goes down, which is a possibility, right? Have you as an organization talked about the next step? Because the Spurs probably, it wouldn't be crazy to think they will try to go back to the city and work out some other kind of financing agreement. Well, how would COPS be involved at that point?
Well, look we have met with Peter Holt and the Spurs folks several times. If whatever happens, whether it passes or it fails, we want to continue meeting with them. I'm kind of reminded of the song from Hamilton, I want to be in the room where it happens. We want to be in the room where the next iteration happens, where Plan B is designed, if it's not already designed. And I'm one of those cynics that say it's there already, I just haven't seen it.
Now, so then there's really no room if there's already an agreement.
but you gotta.
Have you gotten any assurances from the Spurs or the city about you being in the room?
Actually, the city and the Spurs have been particularly good about reaching out and having conversations with us, and we need to continue that whatever happens.
I know Mayor Gina Ortiz-Jones has said that if Prop B passes, that she would then like the city's portion, the $489 million, to be put up for a citywide vote. Is that something you all support, putting that money, letting the voters decide whether they want to use that?
Well, honestly, we're always in support of taking something out to a vote and having people decide. That's democracy, right? That's the way it ought to be done. But we haven't really had that conversation with the mayor yet, specifically on this.
Do you consider Mayor Jones an ally in this, in your fight against Prop B?
Not, it's hard to say. It's hard to say. We've had good conversations with her about it. She has, as an economist, she has the same kinds of questions that we have, asking about the real costs, the real benefits. and how they've been overplayed in terms of the economic benefit for the city from the Spurs. So I think in that she's been very helpful. In the actual campaign on Prop B, I think she's neutral. Oh, she has been neutral with us.
Well, I mean, she said publicly that she wants a deal. She does, she wants an agreement with the Spurs. She just wants it to be a fair deal for taxpayers. But like that's a position not at all to your liking, unless I'm misunderstanding something.
Well, isn't that our position too? In some ways, we're not. Well, we're not opposed to the arena.
No. I mean, I think she's talking unless she's talking in such circumspection that like it's lost on me, but I think she's talking about using public dollars. Yeah, she just wants a great deal. So that would seem to put her at odds with cops.
Well, like I say, we really haven't had those specific conversations with her, but we would be opposed to that.
Right. Yeah. Thinking about it, just think about it in terms of campaign politics. Does her kind of questioning the numbers and definitely taking the CSL economic impact study and really saying like, look, this is a company, the company that did this economic impact analysis is majority owned by a Spurs investor.
Exactly.
Right. I mean, I think that did a lot to kind of discredit that report. And I think the question she raises, I think it's made some voters kind of think about this deal in a different way. Am I missing something? And it seems like that would be beneficial to your campaign, whatever her actual position is on using taxpayer dollars for this.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say that, the questioning of the numbers, we've been going through the same thing. I mean, all of the analysis that we've been doing coincides with a lot more questions being out there than answers as a result of the report. And we don't trust the report, pure and simple.
Right.
You all have been doing a petition drive where you're asking voters to put down their name and say they're committing to vote against Prop B. How many signatures have you collected?
We have collected thousands of signatures. And the reason I can't give you an exact number is because every day we have teams of people in our institutions, but outside of them. We've gone to the community colleges, we've gone to public events, and we've done the one-on-one with people explaining why they should be opposed to Prop B and getting their signatures. And then we've also gotten a lot more people who say, well, I don't want to put my name on anything, but I'm voting against it. So, it's a fluid number right now.
Is there a range? When we say thousands, is it more than 5,000, more than 10,000, more than 15,000? I mean, what's the range?
The last are double-digit thousands.
So last week, UTSA's Public Opinion Research Center released results on this race, on the Props A and B election, and found that Prop B is in trouble. That, I believe it was
46% of voters said they planned to vote against it.
They strongly opposed it or just kind of opposed it, but they opposed it. And 40% supported it. Was there anything surprising to you in those results? These are likely voters in Maryland.
I guess the one thing that kind of surprised me is that there were still 40% that were supporting it. They say over and over again, this is not a tax increase. This is not a tax increase. But if you go to the Bexar County elections website and look at the ballot, it says tax increase on both A and B. So it's a little disingenuous to say it's not. All right. And it's very disingenuous to say who it's coming from. When our car broke down and we had to take it in and we had to get a rental car. Well, we're not tourists and we're not from out of town, but we paid the taxes. Going to events at hotels and stuff of local people, you're paying the taxes. So to say that, don't worry about it, it's not going to hurt you.
Just out of towners.
Yeah, is actually not accurate. And the other is that, when they've spoken to the fact that it's not going to increase your property taxes. Well, right now it's not. But if you grow this humongous entertainment and sports center, the people in the Lavaca area and King William tell me their property taxes aren't going to assure them that it won't happen. It's likely to happen. And, a lot of the people that we've spoken to who oppose Prop B, unlike in Cops Metro, where we say, if the Spurs want to pay for it and they want to build it, and then we'll negotiate the rest of it. That's part of it. But there are a lot of people that live in those communities that say that under no circumstances do they want to see it because there's so many issues with parking. The people who say, with events now, there's people parking in my driveway and I can't get out. So
early on, this was back over the summer, we started hearing about kind of grassroots opposition to, and the arena, Project Marvel, it all gets thrown together. It was, it's the No Project Marvel coalition, but they're very much involved in the campaign against Prop B. And it started, as far as we can tell, kind of in King William and throughout the Southtown area. I assume that faction is still actively involved in this campaign. But tell me how the Vote No campaign looks from your side of things. Who's involved and how extensive is it, this campaign?
Well, there are a number of organizations that are participating, including community organizations, and there's a grassroots, as you said, the No on Prop B, and Esperanza Center. So there's a lot of organizations that are engaged in that movement, and we do have conversations with them. We do, keep in contact, and they are as strong as ever. So they're working it their ways, and then we're doing our sign up and take charge campaign.
Yeah. So today is the first day of early voting. Yes. What is Cops Metro doing over the next 2 weeks in terms of getting out the vote?
Well, we have a plan for getting out the vote. First of all, this next Sunday, we have our big convention, our 50th anniversary convention. And one of the key issues that we're going to be dealing with, not the only ones, but it will be sign up and take charge to continue to collect signatures. But then it's to get out the vote. And the charge is going to be, all right, we gathered, we celebrated, we've committed, and now we have to go out and get, so there's going to be several thousand people at the convention, and those several thousand are going to commit to taking 10 to 20 people to the polls. So we're going to be calling, we're going to be walking, we've got flyers ready to go, and we're going to get on telephones, and we're going to be sending out text messages. So we have a full get out the vote campaign because this is a fight and we're in it.
What do you think the results are going to look like? Do you think it's going to be close either way?
Well, I hope not. I hope it won't be close. It depends on who shows up. At the end of the day, who shows up.
Yeah.
I just like to work like if we're behind, and because otherwise, if you act like you're ahead, you get complacent. You don't want to get complacent.
No.
You just got to keep working at it.
Yeah. Did you must have hated seeing that poll last week then, though. Huh? It's like, oh my God.
I just look at it and just ignore it. I just ignore it because that you just say, okay, there's some people that feel the same way we do, but there's still a lot of work to be done.
Yeah.
You can't just sit back and just with a comfortable lead there. You just don't let anything let you get complacent.
Yeah. Now, so after Election Day, if Prop B goes down, there may be another deal. If not, this thing progresses. But there's still the reality of Project Marvel. And what is Cops Metro? And this is just really quick. That means really significant upgrades to the Alamo Dome and expansion of the convention center, converting the John Wood Federal Courthouse into a concert venue. A lot of stuff, and including bringing in private sector development, restaurants, shops, bars, kind of threaded throughout that area. What is Cops Metro's involvement going to be? Because this could be as much as a $4 billion project, all told. What role do you see your organization playing?
Well, it's huge.
Right. Yeah.
Even if you take out the arena, everything else is still on the table.
Yeah.
And so we want to continue meeting with the city manager and the mayor and the council, our council reps, to look at broadly, what do we really need to do and where does the money come from for that? And again, it's not just a conversation with us. It's a conversation with the whole community because it's going to have a huge impact. So, when we start talking about a coming bond election and they want a big chunk of money for that, we're going to have to negotiate that because honestly, the street that I live on, my husband's family rather, has lived there for over 100 years. We still don't have sidewalks. So there's a lot of basic needs, and go back to parent vital. That has to be on the table and dealt with somehow at the county level. So there's a lot more that needs to be taken into consideration, that needs to be negotiated out, but it has to be done publicly.
Right.
Do you find that this current council, that enough of them are open to being critical about Project Marvel? Or do you find that to be a challenge, is convincing them to see your position, to maybe be more skeptical of some of these improvements?
Well, let's just say that after the election, I think there may be some change of heart. So we'd like to see that in our council.
Yeah. Now, we'll be wrapping it up with both of your dirty little secrets, which is, and you brought it. You I know you did. Your season ticket holders to the Spurs. So I guess my last question is, how could you? So you bought yours 4 years ago for the first time, and same with you. You became a season ticket, too, right? Yeah. So why 4 years ago? Because that was pre-Wimby. Was it just that it was cheap, like compared to other ways you could have?
Have you seen what the cost of Dodgers season tickets are? I'd have to mortgage my firstborn.
They weren't that cheap.
Right. Tell me, what's your history with the Spurs?
So,
Adrian.
Ever since I was a kid, I've been following the Spurs. And I still follow them. I followed them.
Is that when they were ABA, like the American Basketball Association?
Like when that old man.
Hold on, I didn't hear you. Did you say?
So I followed him like probably sometime after like David Robinson.
Right.
Yeah, David Robinson's when he first came in, all the way through all the championship seasons, and then I started going to the games. During the rebuild, and when all the Spurs fans were getting along, talking about should we tank or not tank, and all this cohesion. I'm being sarcastic. It was probably one of the.
Well, I'm glad you told me. You need to work on your sarcastic voice.
Well, it was. It was a big battle about whether to like tank or not tank. They wanted to lose or not lose, but there was only like a few fans that were really following that because there wasn't a lot. A lot of people interested in that conversation. They were just used to the winning years.
Right.
And then that's why like today when you hear to ask somebody, hey, so what do you think about the Spurs? And then the first thing they come up with is players from like 10 or 15 years ago. And they don't even know who's here today. Now most people are like, okay, well Wemby. And they can say that. But that's my history. I started off like from the 90s and through all through the championships, through the rebuilds, always followed them. And I'm still gonna go to the games. I'm still gonna follow them. I have a separation between my love for the basketball and then the deal we have to make with the owners. I mean, at the end of the day, the players go through what we're going through. They don't just trust the ownership group to give them a contract. They get an agent. They negotiate a contract. They go through this process. This is completely normal to negotiate with a business like this. So that's why I can separate my fandom from this transaction.
Yeah. Is there any part of you that you would keep hidden and you'd never talk about it in public that says, ooh, maybe, we could be positioning ourselves to maybe have the Spurs in a position where they're taking offers from other cities. And I will have been part of that.
So I look at this and I'm kind of like, I would feel like a huge betrayal of trust because, I looked at the numbers and what the Spurs were worth at the time when we got the Frost Bank Center. They were worth like, 252 million. They were like a startup.
Yeah.
And if you look forward to today, they're worth like $4 billion. They're not a startup. Like they're big now. So like I'd feel betrayed. I wouldn't. It wouldn't be like, hey, I did something to them. No, like they've been helped by the San Antonio community for so long.
Yeah, and it would probably be helpful to say, okay, they're valued at about $4 billion. There are 30 teams in the NBA. I believe it was their 2024 ranking by Forbes magazine was 18th out of 30, just in terms of value, just to put it in some kind of perspective. How about you? Like, what's your history with the Spurs? I mean, you came here from LA, but you were from here originally, right?
Oh yes, yes, absolutely. And I've been a big fan of the Spurs from the get-go. You know, the Admiral, Tim Duncan. I mean, what an amazing player. I have more Spurs T-shirts than you can shake a stick at. Tons of them. For every championship, for every, got them all. And I think I told you about our grandson is named Timothy after Tim Duncan. So we do love the Spurs. We followed them very, very closely, celebrated with them. And like Adrian, I would feel very betrayed if, we've given them already 4 arenas. If they leave because they didn't get a 5th one, well, so hold on, that's on them.
Let's enumerate that. So that's Hemisphere Arena, right? Alamo Dome, Frost Bank Center, and then potentially this new one. Okay,
right.
Got it. All right. Now, I'm going to give you one more chance. Call the election right now. Give me a percentage. What do you think it's going to be?
Percent? Oh, baby.
Come on. and then we're going to bring you back on after that.
Yeah, right. One of the things we've done is look at the percentage of folks who've turned out for these November elections. And it's been everywhere from 7.8% to the high of like 12%. 11.35%. We think it's going to be higher than that. And do I think we're going to win? Again, it depends on who shows up. But yeah, I think we're going to win. And I think we will win probably, oh God.
Go ahead.
I don't know, maybe 5%.
Okay.
So you're
saying absolutely 5%. Got it. Now, a higher turnout than you would normally expect for an election like this. Is that to your benefit or no? And if so, like how? It
would be to our benefit.
In what way?
Because we're getting people who are not the high propensity voters, but people who vote occasionally. And this issue has been hot. And as we talk to people one-on-one to get those signups, some of them are extremely adamantly opposed to it. And we think that there's enough energy in that they will come out to vote.
And do you think there are more of those kind of low propensity voters who are against this versus, those diehard Spurs fans that I see all over the internet who probably are not voting very regularly but are going to come out for this?
No, I think that there will be more people that come out that say, this deal just smells, it just is not right.
Right. I think leaving it on the smelly deal, I think that's probably as good a place as any to leave this. Early voting starts today. Go vote. You've got through Halloween, October 31st. That's the end of early voting. Then you've got voting election day, November 4th, Tuesday. Either vote early or vote that day, but vote. And thank you very much for joining us. You were really giving of your time. I appreciate it. And thank you for watching. We'll be back next week. And as always, if you have not signed up for the ENside Politics newsletter, do so. This time I can tell you, I swear to God, it's better. We've made improvements. Just stop making me plead. Just go to show notes, click, sign up, and I'd really appreciate it. It's like a personal favor to me. Thank you, and we'll see you next week.